Hi, welcome to Homekeepers. Hey, come right on in, friend. It's so good to be with you today, and I always like to welcome everybody. So I'll start out today with you regular folks. God bless you. Thank you. And I'd like to say, you know, when we send recipes and things out, and sometimes you request them by email, your little comments are so encouraging. Thank you. It means a lot. And also for you brand new ones, hope this won't be your last time to join us, because we talk about things that keep that home. And I've said it many, many times. We talk about anything and everything that affects the home, and guess what? That is anything and everything. So I'm sure there's a lot of subjects we've never tapped yet, but we'll keep plugging away as God sends us some wonderful guests, as He has today. I just met Dr. Cheryl Bauman. She is the author of Just Say It, and it deals with the importance of the spoken word and the importance of saying the right words. We're living in a very coarse society. It's downright disgusting at times, but I've always believed that when you kick God out, then everything deteriorates. I mean, everything. And our nation is deteriorating. There's no doubt about it. We need a revival. We need people to turn back to God. And it certainly shows up in our speech and the words that we say. And so this book is very timely, and Dr. Bauman is here right now, and I'll be talking to her shortly. And in just a couple of minutes, Stephanie and Tiffany, that's kind of got a nice sound, are going to fix a banner for Easter. These girls make crafts every once in a while on the show, and they are just delightful. There's something about working with your hands and with a friend or with your kids makes really good memories. You're going to like this one. Easter banner that you can put on your fireplace or maybe a lot of places in your home or outside. But before we go to that, I want to again offer you, because we ordered more of these, they were flying out the door, 365 read aloud bedtime Bible stories. And it's got illustrations and just one page for each story. It starts out with Genesis, it ends in Revelation. And so I think I'll join the kids across the nation who are reading this. I read it every night. It's got questions at the bottom of the page, and it's a good way to get the Word of God into the hearts of your children and your grandchildren. The information's on your screen. It's for any amount that you can give the program. When you give money to Homekeepers, it helps us stay on the air. It pays the light bill, pays the crew, pays everything that goes with television, which is extremely expensive, but every little bit helps. So if you haven't ordered it already, I hope you will. I'm enjoying reading it, and guess what? Those questions at the bottom, sometimes I have to sneak back and go through the story again to make sure I get the answer right. What a great thing. Whoever thought of this, God bless you. All right. We're going to go to Stephanie and Tiffany right now, and they're going to make something for the Easter season, and I think you're going to enjoy it. These girls are a lot of fun.
You know, nothing gets my juices flowing like projects. I'm so excited. Tiffany's back with us from Nook and Cranny. If you are in Pinellas County, Pasco, Hillsborough, it is worth the drive. I promise you, sign up for a workshop. But she also does make and takes.
Take and make.
Take and makes.
Take and yes.
Take
and make.
Take it home and make it.
That's
Take and make. So you can order these, come by, pick up everything that you need, and take it home and do it with your kids, your grandkids, or, you know, by yourself for therapy, you know?
Yes, making
So
it home.
what are we making today,
Today
Tiffany?
is going to be a super fun wood Easter banner. And I like it because my little brother cuts the wood, my cousin drills the holes. It's kind of a family affair. We put together these kits, and all of the supplies that you need to make this banner is included.
It's so exciting
And
to
it's-
me.
and
It's so much fun.
It is, and this is actually, I mean, you could even use scrap wood if somebody wasn't available to come in and get the kits from us. Drill a couple holes, this is twine, and you're good to go. And this is perfect for any holiday, birthdays.
Right.
You can pull it out. And the best part is when you make it as a family at home and you bring it out year
Every
after
year.
year, everybody's
And then
excited
your
and
kids
they
leave,
remember.
and then you bring it out and you cry. No. You can tell where I am in life, right? Okay, so we have the little
We have the pieces of wood. and
They
we've got-
have the holes drilled
we've got
in
the
them.
holes already drilled. You'll have stencils. We've got brushes. We've got twine. I like to use a gift card so that when we get to the stenciling part, it makes life easier. Scissors, tape, and of course the paint.
Okay, so I'm painting the little pieces of block wood.
Right.
That's your first step.
That's the first step. And this particular kit, we have 3 colors. You can do any kind of color combination. It doesn't have to be exactly like our sample.
Right, but they're
these will-
beautiful, so.
Yes, these are the colors you'll get. And we have a lot of people that decide to use their own colors at home because they have a different color scheme or whatever the case may be. So yeah, you're just gonna paint on the top and then all 4 sides.
Okay, I'm just gonna paint the top. You're gonna paint all 4 sides when you get home.
And then make sure that it's completely dry before you move on. We use blow dryers, so people are more than welcome to use blow dryers at home.
Right.
Or just let it sit overnight if you'd like, whatever
No,
the case may
can't
be.
wait that long.
No,
That's
no
not
patience.
possible.
No patience.
I'll blow dry it. I wanna get done because I love to see the finished product. And it's so professional. It's something you are not ashamed to hang in your house.
That's our goal, is to make something that you are actually proud to hang up and not something that just gets stuffed away into your garage.
Let me tell you, her prices, I have priced other places. Her prices are so great.
We like to be affordable.
Yes.
And when we started the workshops, it was mainly because I'm rather cheap or frugal.
Frugal.
And
We'll go with
I like to
frugal.
DIY and make things that I see that are expensive, but I know I can make for a lot less. So that's
Right.
why we have the workshops, because some of
Right.
the things are inspired by things out of a catalog that are expensive, but not
That
everybody can afford to buy.
or not, even if I could afford it, I don't know if I would ever be able to mentally purchase something that was
Well, a lot
that
of people
expensive.
will buy it and it'll sit around and then you'll never get
Right,
to it.
right.
So this kind
Okay,
of
so we painted the wood.
painted the wood, and now we
it-
have the stencils.
It's dried.
Now the
We're
fun thing
pretending.
about this is if you have good handwriting, which I do not,
I do
you
not.
could freehand Easter on there. But we have these stencils provided for people like me who can't freehand to save their life.
Now Rick Wolf, our production manager, he could totally freehand this.
Freehand?
He's an artist.
Yeah, see, that's not me by any means. So
Mm-hmm.
we're just going to peel the back off, and it's just basically like a sticker.
I'll steal this over here.
Sure, and we're going to make sure we scrape it. That seals it onto the wood.
And you get all of this in, I just
All of
love
this
that
is
you
in
get
the kit.
all of this in your kit.
Yeah, and I can use my fingernails.
Do you think you'll ever do shipping?
Eventually we will.
Okay.
We will. Once we get the kits, make sure that we're not missing anything and we're comfortable with sending them off to people locally that pick them up. I
Right,
think
right.
We'll definitely get to
Oh,
shipping.
that would be awesome. Okay.
Okay, so now we have the E and the R, and we're going to pick our colors, and we went with the pink for the letters. So if you want to take that one, and I'll
Okay.
do the other one.
Sure. And this is just a dabbing
Just
process.
a dab.
This
and you
is
just
why
need a
it's so
real
great
thin
for your
coat.
kids.
Yeah, so this is most of the people that pick up our kits end up doing it with their children.
Or again, therapy, I'm telling you. This will make you feel so good.
It really does. It's a huge sense of accomplishment once you've finished and you make it.
And then you have it hanging in your home and people come in and compliment it and you can say, I made that.
I made it.
So exciting. Okay.
And then once you finish putting the paint on the stencil, we're going to peel
Do
the
you kind of want it to dry a little bit, right?
We actually prefer that the stencil comes off wet.
Oh,
That
really?
way the paint doesn't peel off. So if you let it sit
Oh,
too dry,
okay.
it could seal onto the stencil.
Yeah, because you
when
know the
peel it
last
off.
workshop I thought
me off.
I thought I knew what I was doing and I did that
We've
and then
been
I
so
went
often-
and blow dried it and the girl's like, no, don't do that. I'm like, I thought I knew what I was doing. There. Oh,
And there it is.
how cute.
And
And
then-
then
And then the next step is once it's dry, which this is pretty dry because it's a thin coat, you're just going to take your twine, and a little tip with the twine or any kind of ribbon that you're trying to go into a hole and weave is to put a little bit of tape around the edge because it'll fray and be really hard to
yeah,
poke through the hole
gotcha.
there. So we're going to just,
EAST.
oh, we probably should spell it correctly, right? That would help.
Easter egg.
Easter.
Easter egg.
And suddenly it's another language.
Yes.
So then there's this one,
Okay.
and then the R.
I love it.
Oh, we're going
Oh,
the wrong
wrong way.
And you can
You can do
weave
it,
it
yeah.
through there any way that
way
you'd
you want.
like.
Here, I'll do the last one.
And then we accented the ends with crosses.
We have bunnies on the ones on the
Bunnies
front.
down there, and then this one actually has
Crosses, because we all know what Easter is all,
It's all
about.
Correct. So we'll have two options.
Oh, I'm bound and determined to do
go
it the other way. Okay. You want to hold up that end?
Yes, I'll hold this one up.
Yay! Where are we?
Cute little wood banner.
Is that so adorable?
that you made.
Yep. And you, if you're, I'm telling you, Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, and eventually everyone will be able to. That's why I asked if you ship, because
yes, that is our goal for 2016. Yes. We have a lot of goals, but one of them is to start shipping our kits, because we have a lot of people that watch us and want to get this in their living room, and they're not local. So we're going to do something about that this year.
Excellent. Okay, so this is Tiffany, Nook and Cranny. Her information will be up on the screen. Sign up for the VIP emails. Learn all about it. I'm so excited to have her. We'll see you next time.
Looked like fun. I always thought crafts were fun when I was a kid, so I hope you enjoy those segments that we are able to do once in a while. And I am very pleased to welcome to the program Dr. Cheryl Bauman. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You just came from Disney, didn't you? Canadian.
We love Disney. We love coming down to Florida here. It's the nice warm weather that we just miss so much at this time of year. So, and the people are so friendly here as well. So,
well, if you have a second nation, mine would be Canada, because in the past I've spoken up there a lot, and wonderful people. It's beautiful. It's got everything. It's got mountains. It's got seashore. It's got prairie. It's got everything. So you live in a beautiful place, and I want to welcome you to the program. Congratulate you on the book, Just Say It. Is this a subject that was kind of coming up through, into your life and your consciousness for months or maybe even years?
It was more years, I would say, that it just was kind of resonating with me as I walked through different areas of my life, both professionally and personally. I have 25 years in public education as a principal and as a vice principal and consultant and teacher, and just seeing the power that's really in the spoken word. And then also being a mom and a wife, and also a daughter and a niece, and all of those different roles that I have in my life. I just have noted and observed over the years how important the spoken word truly, truly is, and how I think in our society nowadays we're taking it for granted.
Yeah, and if people just kind of took this to heart in the home, it would make a big difference. You graduated, you have a doctorate from Australia, right?
That's correct.
You're a really international gal.
Yes, and I love to travel internationally too. I have to say there's just so much that the different cultures have to offer us. But yes, I did my doctorate through distance education from the University of Southern Queensland, and I received it in professional leadership.
What courses do you teach today?
Today I teach both master's and doctoral students. So I teach master's level students in the area of business and human resources, and then doctoral level students in the area of professional leadership.
Well, that would be interesting. What are the students like today in comparison to when you went to school? And I'll tell you why I ask.
Okay.
I'm sure these are fixed and set up, but sometimes you see these kind of men on the street, they're asking questions of college students, and they're so incredibly dumb. It's just really hard to take in. And like I say, it might be a setup, but it's pretty pathetic. So overall, as you look at your students, how would you kind of describe them?
How would I describe my students? Well, at the level that I'm teaching now, at the doctoral and master level, all those students really want to be there, right? They're paying, a lot of them, for their education, or they're on scholarships. And so they've decided that they want to continue on after their undergraduate. So many of them are very motivated to be where they're at, because it will help them in terms of their career. But there has been a shift, and I would say a shift in terms of both at the university level and also in our elementary and high school settings, where there is this sense of entitlement, or there is this sense of I'm here, and so you need to give it all to me,
I'm
right?
breathing, yeah.
Right, I'm breathing.
I deserve it.
Right. So there is that. But I would say that you can separate students at any level, because I've now taught at all levels, into kind of a third, and a third. So a third might be there because their parents are telling them to in university. Another third might be there because they're not quite too sure what they want to do. And then another third are very motivated. And I think that we can look at that across all areas in life,
Yeah,
right?
that's very, very interesting, because that's kind of what I had in the back of my mind, that this entitlement thing, it affects everything. And we've got, as we make this program, we're in a political season for the presidency of the United States, and these politicians are offering everybody everything. So it's going to be one big free wagon, I guess, if certain people get elected.
Yes. And I think too, with this, there is a huge concern about the spoken word, because it does have so much power. And like you said, they're promising people things that they're not even.
They can't produce it.
They can't produce it, right? And some of them know that, and they're just saying it. And so that's where danger really comes in, right? Because when we look back in the Bible, God says, I speak the truth. And when I speak it and when I say it, I speak it and I declare it. I don't speak it in darkness. I speak it in light. But I also declare it, and what I say, I mean. And Jesus was the same way, and he modeled that for us too, right? He said, what I say, I will do. And the living word of the Bible has shown us that throughout the ages, right? And our society is getting away from that.
And the Bible addresses this book over and over. Was there a moment or a situation that this light bulb went on in your consciousness about the importance of words? Was there a singular situation?
I don't know if I would say there was a singular situation, but there was a culmination of situations where I really noticed that people were not speaking what they meant, that people were not speaking kindly to others, and just the ramifications, just what was happening because of that. And I think that because in our North American society, now I'm speaking for Canada and the US, we just have so much, right? And so, and there's that sense of entitlement as well with some people. And again, I'm speaking not for everyone. I'm just saying that was my observation. And so I think that it's getting back to how can we really talk with others kindly and respectfully, and how can we encourage and uplift others and admonish others like Christ showed us, like the Apostle Paul talked about too, right? In terms of encouraging one another.
Right.
Because we have choices in our lives as to whether we want to be an encourager or to be a discourager. And the power that our words do really hold, because they are quite powerful.
There's probably never been a time when this was needed more. This book, Just Say It, and we do have your website on the screen. You can get the book through the website. I encourage you to write that website down, because as I mentioned earlier, we're in presidential election season, and the discourse gets lower and lower and lower. They call each other liars and this and that and the other. And you'd like to see somebody just rise above all of it. It seems like everybody's okay getting down in the mud. And the things you point out in this book, just say there has to be a little bit of a mind change, but there has to be a determination. Often when I pray in the morning, I'll close by saying, let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. And also King David said, set a watch at my mouth. That's the one I need, you know, where the Lord is there. Don't say that, because as a public speaker, you know, like yourself, your gift can be your curse. You know, it can be used for a good endeavor or the opposite. And so if you determine to just say it, when you got this in your spirit, did you, you know, take 2 steps forward and 3 back, or?
Yes.
Before it became a good habit, because that's what it needs to be, a good habit.
Absolutely, it's a habit, right? Yes, and it came through years of me making mistakes as well, right? Of me seeing, okay, when I said something wrong, what happened. And when I said something not so kind, what happened to my relationship with the person and what did I have to do? And then when I did say something kind, how did that work out? And so yes, it did come through years and years of really watching what I said and how I said it, and then also observing people too. As King Solomon talks about too in Proverbs, he talks about, you know, there's life and death in the power of the tongue.
Powerful.
And it's just, yeah, it's just very cutting, and we can either really encourage people or discourage. And I've noticed the difference in terms of families, in terms of how I even speak to my daughter in our home. And I chose right from the beginning, I said, I will always encourage her. I need to be genuine. I need to be a mom, right? I need to raise her up accordingly, but to always use encouraging ways of speaking with her. And, you know, if we just look back to the Word of God in the Bible, and we look at Deuteronomy, even when God instructs parents and grandparents and to continually talk about God and His promises to our children, and to talk to them when we're sitting down, when we're laying down, when we're walking along. In all areas of our lives, we're to do that. And I think that if we decide to get back to that and just say it, and sometimes it's difficult for us, and people say, I have a difficult time saying I care, or I believe in you, or and these are different phrases that are in my book. But I then ask the question, well, there's 86,400 seconds in a day. You know, we need to make a habit and get into a habit of realizing that if we choose to use positive words to people that come into our lives every day, that is truly our calling in life. That's truly what we are called to do as Christians.
Now, was this truth kind of a part of your life when your daughter was born?
Yes.
So this is all she's known, basically.
Yes, yes.
That would be interesting. I'd like to just interview her sometime.
Yes, oh, you'd love to.
Because you told me before you came in here she prayed with you.
Yes, she did. She prayed right before I came, and I said, you know, Sarah, can you just pray for me before I come into the studio? And she said, God, you speak through Mom. Right? And so it's me talking with her about how God uses us and how we're His vessels. But I didn't tell her what to pray. I just said, Sarah, will you please pray? And so it's by us as parents setting the example. And some parents out there today might be listening and saying, I haven't done this. I've really messed up. I've really screwed up. I haven't. But there's no time like now to start. Or if, like you said, you're going 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, it's to continue on with the mindset that this is really the legacy that I want to leave with my family. This is really what I want to do in terms of how I want to raise my children.
You know what's interesting is all of this was part of a recent interview, which makes me think the Lord is wanting to get the message out. There's too many hurtful words in our homes and sentences and attitudes, and I believe that's the way the Holy Spirit works. You know, He'll just put His light on a situation like that, and I have a real sense that a lot of viewers are seeing themselves. You know, our home is a verbal battleground a lot of time, and it's full of insults, and that needs to stop. But according to your book, it's not always verbal. Can be nonverbal.
That's right.
And how do we do that with the look?
It's true, because I talk about it in my book too, right? That there's nothing like face-to-face communication, and that technology is nowadays sometimes taken away from that, and that we need to have the eye contact. We need to have the nonverbal cues and listening to somebody's tone of voice. But like you said, if sometimes, if we're not maybe speaking so kindly, it can even just be the tone, or it can be the look that we're giving someone. So I encourage your viewers today to really just self-reflect, because this has come out of me not being perfect, and I talk about it in my book too, right? Like, I've made many, many mistakes throughout my life in terms of how I've interacted with others, and then gone back and thought, what can I do to change things? And so that's what I'm really encouraging your viewers today, to not really condemn themselves, to say, okay, this is where I'm at now, and this is where I'm going to start, and just to really make a commitment that our house will be a household of faith. our house will be a household where Jesus and God are first and foremost.
And even if you're the only one making the effort, do it anyway. You don't have to live under that kind of condemnation and also those horrible habits, because that's what they are. I'm not sure, I know God's able. I'm not sure very many people ever delivered of that, just like that. You got to work through it, because that's where the real spiritual value is. If you just joined us, this is a wonderful book, and you can tell by the great things that Dr. Bauman is saying, but just say it. The website's on the screen, so I hope that you will take advantage of it. One of the points that you make, I just love, and that's to encourage yourself. You don't have to sit around and wait for everybody else's feedback. There's that wonderful story about David in the Bible where they were wanting to kill him. I mean, he was having a bad day. I've laughed sometimes reading that. I know I shouldn't, but it was just so horrible.
Yes.
And said, God, they want to kill me. But David said that he encouraged himself in the Lord. I'm glad you brought that out.
And sometimes that's what we have to do. And I'm glad that you just said too that in some households, maybe you're the person's the only one. And so stand in faith, stand with God, because He's given people, He hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind, right? And so just like David knew as well, he encouraged himself in the Lord. And so I want to encourage people that wherever they're at, that they can also encourage themselves in the Lord and go on.
And when you're encouraged, and when you get in that mode, God is there. He is the ultimate encourager. But when you do that, it's easier to encourage other people. And we can sit and talk, like platitudes or whatever, but it's the absolute truth. If you're the only one that's going to try this in your household, then try it. Why do you let these other outside forces dictate your behavior?
That's it. And that's not really the way that we were created either, right? We were created out of the spoken word. We were created out of a powerful spoken word from God Almighty, and He created us to speak blessings and encouragement over others, right? He didn't create us to speak conflict. And so that when we are in conflict with others, that's why it doesn't feel good, or that's why we don't like it, because our brains, and there's been a lot of research with that too, that has been done, and I talk about it in the book, in terms of what happens to our brains when kind words are spoken to us, and what happens to our brain when unkind words are spoken. And they've shown from a very young age with kids that when they are spoken to with kind words, that they are better in terms of self-regulation, they're better emotionally, and they're better problem solvers.
And that's worth the price of the book, is to read about how researchers have gone into these situations in depth to discover that actually affects that brain. And so it's a good way to better your own life, better the lives of those around you, your family, and so forth. Please take it to heart. And please join me next time, remembering there is no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.